It's difficult to take claims about Donald Trump being a global peacemaker seriously when his record at home tells a very different story. In his own words, he's often framed his political battles as wars against American cities and institutions, hardly the approach of a unifier. And when it comes to foreign policy, Trump's understanding of international affairs has often raised eyebrows. He didn't personally broker this latest deal. In fact, many analysts argue that he doesn't fully grasp the key players involved. That became clear during a recent exchange that several world leaders couldn't help but react to, including one who subtly highlighted Trump's confusion in a way that drew global attention. It was a moment that raised new concerns about his focus and awareness on the world stage. We'll dive into that exchange and what former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney said to Trump in just a moment. But before we do, please take a second to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy our coverage. It really helps support our work. Now, before we get into that tense moment between Carney and Trump, let's start with someone who has received the Nobel Peace Prize. Former President Barack Obama, who recently spoke out about the importance of leadership and the damage caused by political division at home. Take a look.
When you have military that can direct force against their own people, that is inherently corrupting. And so when you now start seeing the politicization of the military, deliberately, right?
They just landed in Chicago.
Yeah. When you have what looks like a deliberate end run around not just a concept, but a law that's been around for a long time, posse comitatus, that says, you don't use our military on domestic soil unless there is an extraordinary emergency of some sort. That when you see an administration suggest that ordinary street crime is an insurrection or
a terrorist act,
that is a genuine effort to weaken how we have understood democracy. And that was understood by Democrats and Republicans. I always try to, it's almost too easy of a thought experiment. If I had sent in the National Guard into Texas and just said, you know what, a lot of problems in Dallas. A lot of crime there. And I don't care what Governor Abbott says. I'm going to kind of take over law enforcement because I think things are out of control. It is mind-boggling to me how Fox News would have responded.
Yeah.
These recent ICE operations reflect a lot about the broader approach of the Trump administration. They capture a mindset rooted in fear, one that seems designed to make certain communities feel unsafe and uncertain about their place in this country. Many critics argue that this environment has especially impacted Black and brown communities, deepening divisions and mistrust in the very institutions meant to protect them. The message seems clear. This administration has often treated government power as a tool to serve the wealthy and connected, rather than as a means to strengthen local communities and improve lives. And at the same time, Donald Trump has sought to blur the line between civilian and political power, framing the military and law enforcement as personal instruments of loyalty rather than neutral public servants. He's built an image of strength and dominance on the world stage, But when you really listen to his own words, especially when he talks about how admired he believes he is internationally, the bravado can come across as exaggerated and out of touch.
I say it was a dead country. The king told me, and I use that. He said, sir, 1 year ago it was a dead country. Today you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and it is. It's the hottest country. So many investors are here. We have over $17 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record.
Donald Trump wants to present himself as this strong man whose negotiating powers are the envy of the world. But when you're throwing out fake trillion-dollar statistics that mean nothing except for the fact that all you care about is PR and not actual results, you just show how weak, ineffective, and especially insecure you are. And Donald Trump's about to get even more insecure after Mark Carney mocked him for his clear decline. Hot Mike catches Prime Minister correcting Trump's senior moment. Mark Carney stepped in to correct the president after he mixed up his title during his rambling speech. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney jokingly corrected Donald Trump after he called the North American leader president rather than prime minister. The 79-year-old ailing president had dismissed the press and was shaking hands with world leaders at the Middle East Summit Monday. But the camera was still rolling and mics still on after his speech. Well, I'm glad you upgraded me to president, Carney could be heard saying before laughing. The president had called Carney's predecessor, Justin Trudeau, governor, on numerous occasions as he pushed for Canada to become the 51st state. However, he dropped the demands with Carney taking over the position. Trump's speech following the signing of the Gaza ceasefire deal in Egypt stretched nearly half an hour as he veered between thanking world leaders and rambling on a series of unrelated topics. When it came time to praise Canada, Trump said the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile to attend the summit. Trump has also referred to Carney directly as Mr. President. The president gave a running commentary as he noted other leaders in the room. He repeatedly questioned why some of the leaders were standing with him at the podium as he spoke. When he got to France's president, Emmanuel Macron, Trump was surprised he was not among those standing. France, thank you very much, Emmanuel. I would imagine Emmanuel standing someplace behind me, Trump said, looking around him before spotting the president in the audience. I can't believe it. You're taking a low-key approach today. When it was time to mention Norway, Trump was clearly still bitter about not receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, which was awarded by Friday by the Norwegian Nobel Committee. We have Norway. Oh, Norway. Norway. What happened? Norway. What happened? He said while looking around the room, unable to locate its leader right away. In another hot mic moment, though, after Trump told the press to clear the room during talks with world leaders, he was approached by the Indonesian president. Most of their exchange was inaudible, but the name Eric could be clearly heard, presumably a reference to Trump's son, who now runs the Trump Organization. Donald Trump's recent appearance on the world stage once again raised eyebrows. Confusing titles like president and prime minister might seem like a small slip, but for someone who calls himself a foreign policy expert, it doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Still, much of the mainstream media is rushing to frame this as a historic success. A narrative that feels all too familiar. As former President Barack Obama pointed out, the constant use of anger and fear in politics erodes democracy from within. It's understandable that many people feel exhausted watching these moments unfold. The non-stop cycle of outrage and division can make you want to look away. And honestly, that's what some in power are counting on. They want fatigue to lead to silence. But this is exactly when engagement matters most. There's an important moment coming. A chance to reassert that democracy belongs to the people, not to politicians who profit from division. That's why movements like the upcoming No Kings protest are so important. A reminder that no one in a democracy should ever stand above accountability.
This is about one thing, and one thing only: to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold, as Leader Scalise just commented on, a Hate America rally in D.C. next week.
I mean, really, guys? Really? The terrorist wing of the party? A Hate America rally? There is a very large, peaceful protest that is planned for October 18th. By the way, I don't think the Democrats have any relationship to whether they're holding the government hostage over it. It's completely one has nothing to do with the other. That protest is not going to just be in Washington, but it's going to be in thousands of communities across the country. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's not called a Hate America protest. They couldn't actually say the name of the protest because it would be so obviously American in its name. It is the No Kings protest. No Kings being a value, I think, that unites all of us as Americans. Republicans are trying to paint this as some kind of reverse January 6th plot by leftist terrorists. But it's a lie. It's a despicable lie, honestly, and a dangerous one, because there was already a No Kings protest earlier this year. Remember? We both lived through it. It's not that long ago. You might have even been there if you're listening to this right now. I covered it live at this desk, along with the other estimated 5 million Americans who were there, of every background and age, and they marched, and they danced, and they sang, and they carried signs, some of them snarky, some of them quite funny, all across the country, in more than 2,000 cities and towns. It was held on June 14th, Flag Day. It even outdrew Donald Trump's birthday parade of army tanks that same day. Remember that? So, when all those MAGA Republicans went out in advance of the protest to try to criminalize protected political activity, the organizers of the upcoming No Kings rally responded, quote, "After a few moments of laughter, the No Kings coalition issued the following statement. Speaker Johnson is running out of excuses for keeping the government shut down. Instead of reopening the government, preserving affordable health care, or lowering costs for working families."
You have to believe me when I say there's a reason why we're already seeing such a coordinated effort in Congress, particularly on the right, to discredit upcoming demonstrations. They're calling them hate rallies, or claiming they're filled with paid protesters, which I always find amusing. Because really, no one's getting paid to show up and speak out. People are showing up because they care. It's a bit ironic to hear those accusations coming from political figures who have openly accepted massive donations from billionaires and corporate backers. The reality is simple. This movement is powered by ordinary people who are tired of the chaos, the division, and the lack of accountability from this administration. And make no mistake, this is a moment to highlight just how weak that leadership has become. The latest polling shows one of the sharpest drops yet in how people perceive the president's strength. Many may have once mistaken his loudness for toughness, but now they're seeing it clearly. It's not strength, it's bluster. While others handle the hard work for him, he's focused on image and self-promotion, not on governing effectively. That's why now is the perfect time to show up, speak out, and make your voice heard. Get out into the streets peacefully and powerfully. Let this administration know you are not unstoppable, and you are not above accountability. If you believe in this message, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.